In this lecture, I will show you how we can find and identify features and values in ArcGIS. I'm using the word values in the context of raster data and features in the context of shapefile data. And raster data in this case is the hill1.tif, this gray bit, the hillshade raster of Vietnam. And identify is a very useful tool, and it identifies the values of geographic features. Either you can click on them or drag a box around them. So if I click on this particular area, then it tells me the pixel value for hillshade at this particular location is 0, but the count is this. Same, I can again click and it tells me that the pixel value of the hillshade raster at this particular location, which you can see here, is 179. I can even try to draw a box and it tells me that the combined pixel value for that area is 123. And essentially this is very useful for working with both raster and shapefile data. For my shapefiles, I have the protected areas of Vietnam in green, and these are the 188 protected areas present in Vietnam, and these are the different attributes associated with each of the polygons: ID, shape, name, original name, representative area, just to name a few. And let me just click on this. In the drop down, you need to make sure that the layer you want to work with is actually selected. So I can specify the topmost layer, which is the Vietnam PA, or just specify Vietnam PA. And now it tells me that protected area name is Muang Nahe, and these are the different attributes associated with this particular shapefile polygon. So the name is this is the ID, the category is 14, and the year it was designated is 1986. But obviously I need to make sure that this particular spatial data layer, in this case Vietnam PN, it needs to be displayed here in order to list all the information at that location or area. If I just select Hill 1 and click again, then it tells me for this area the pixel value is 107. So identify, and if I had more layers, then it would let me identify the values for the different layers, and we can select the topmost layer, or only we can just do it for visible layers or for all the layers, or select the layers by their names. But this is not the only way of identifying features in shapefile data. So let me open the attribute table and let me click on Cat Ba. That's an important protected area in Vietnam, and as you can see, as soon as I clicked on it, it has actually highlighted that area, and this is the Cat Ba. And it tells me Cat Ba, Dao Cat Ba, and this is the IUCN Category 2 protected area, and these are some of the details pertaining to this protected area highlighted in turquoise. I can even clear the selection. And finally, I can also find and identify shapefile features by actually trying to find them. So you go to the binoculars and say you want to find Cat Ba. So there, you want to find Cat Ba. I don't want it in location, so just ignore this. You go to features and you want to find Cat Ba, and and there. So it went through all the shapefile rows, then it found that Cat Ba, it corresponds to name. Indeed, Cat Ba is the name of a protected area, and there's original name by Cat Ba, and this particular Cat Ba, it also figures in this particular row. I can also right click whichever attribute I want to, and I can zoom to the attribute, and there I zoom to this particular area where Cat Ba is. Okay, now I'll go back to full extent. And while binoculars, that's one very good way of finding something, finding a particular polygon in a shapefile, I can go back to opening my attribute table and I can select my attributes, and that's another way of discovering features that correspond to a given attribute. Okay, I'm interested in representative areas and I want to discover all the protected areas that are greater than or equal to this particular representative area. So I can apply, and as you can see, all the records which correspond to this attribute or this criteria have been highlighted like so, and you can indeed highlight multiple records in the attribute table, and as you can see, they've all been highlighted in turquoise within the shapefile as well. I can clear this. I can try name. Since this is a string, I will have to use single quote like so and apply. And again, this has selected this particular feature or polygon protected area for me, and again it's in the same location as before. So the identify tool, the binoculars, the find tool, and the select by attributes, they are excellent ways of exploring your data, especially shapefile data, and you can look for specific features or identify specific features that correspond to a criteria that you have in mind. And in the subsequent lectures, I will carry on exploring and explaining some of these basic but very important functionalities present within ArcGIS.